Got a little announcement here. President Biden announced that the EPA will allow E-15 gasoline that uses 15% ethanol, to be sold in the United States this summer in an effort to expand Americans' access to affordable fuel supply. This is in response to the surge in gas prices across the nation. The EPA is set to issue a national emergency waiver. Without this action, the White House said E-15 cannot be used in most of the country from June 1st to September 15th. The EPA is expected to take final action to issue this emergency waiver close to June 1. This is a bad idea for RVers. Details coming up on RV Street. Okay, let's get right to it. So what's this all about? Why is the White House steering the EPA to issue this emergency waiver so that E-15 gasoline can be sold throughout the United States? Well, they say that they want to make gasoline more affordable for consumers. It's their way of answering the high gasoline prices. They say that it'll also save about 10 cents a gallon at the pump. This video is not going to get into all the politics of why they're doing this or other steps that they could be taking to actually bring prices way down. We're not going to get into the politics of that. But this video is a warning on using E-15 gasoline in your RVs and all the equipment that we carry with us. Ethanol is 200 proof grain alcohol, mostly derived from corn, and it's mixed with gasoline. Today, nearly every single gas station where you pump is going to have 10% ethanol, and it says it right there again on the sticker. It's also known as E10. So you have 10% alcohol, 90% gasoline, therefore you have E10. I want to just read you something here so I make sure I get all these facts right, because I've done a lot of research on this. E15 is shorthand for gasoline blended with 15% ethanol, which is a fairly corrosive material which can cause damage to rubber parts and other critical engine parts over time. Ethanol also attracts and bonds with water in the air, and that water can separate inside the tank due to phase separation. If your vehicle sits for long periods of time between use, that moisture settles to the bottom of the tank and can clog in-tank pumps and filters. Damage can also happen in fuel lines, injectors, seals, gaskets, and valve seats, as well as carburetors. The main issue with respect to E-15 in many cases is whether or not the car will be covered under warranty from damage caused by using E-15. Anybody that owns a gas-powered vehicle or equipment, like a generator, should read the manual and see if it can tolerate E-15. Now, the effects of using ethanol, and especially E-15, is not limited to gasoline-powered cars, motorcycles, and trucks. Nope. It can affect other seasonal items like ATVs and boats and snowmobiles and generators, and on the list goes. The biggest problem with more ethanol is its alcohol, and it attracts water. And when water gets into that system, into your fuel system and into the engine, it's corrosive. And it can cause rust and all kinds of issues inside the lines. And then those little particles break up, travel through the system, and start to really wreak havoc on the way it runs. It'll start clogging fuel injectors, carburetors, resulting in poor performance, hard starts, and possible engine problems. So in summary, E-15 is corrosive. And with the way we drive in our RVs, right? I mean, we'll park and we sit for a week or two or three sometimes. A lot of you will fill up and you'll store it in the wintertime for months at a time. Boy, doing that with E-15 would just be inviting disaster. And I already read a lot of comments on people who are asking me advice. My generator won't start. I'm getting a knocking in the engine and this and that and the other. And, you know, with me being a maintenance guy, I'm always pushing that message of doing things right the first time to prevent problems from happening in the first place. So E-15 for what we use in the RV community is just a bad idea. Now, if you have a flex fuel vehicle, now you probably don't have to worry about that problem because all those parts are made to adapt to higher ethanol. Plus, they have the electronics to control the way the ECM delivers the fuel. But hey, most of us RVers don't have flex fuel vehicles. The number of cars and vehicles that are designed to use E-15 are dwarfed by other vehicles that were designed to run on regular E10 ethanol fuel. That's why in most car manuals, you'll always read the "do not use" part in big, bold letters. So if you're in any question about whether your vehicle can use E-15, you need to look at that manual. But the RV community has gas motorhomes, gas-powered trucks, gas-powered generators. We have motorcycles and off-road vehicles and all that. And those kind of vehicles will not tolerate E-15 well. The bottom line is just don't use E-15. You're introducing a fuel that will cost less at the pump, but it's going to create long-term damage down the road in maintenance items and performance and all that. Let me read you some notes that I made down here on the economic realities of using E-15 gasoline. This is the economic impact, okay? You will get slightly less miles per gallon. That means less fuel economy from 1 gallon. So what that means is that you'll pay a little less at the pump, maybe 10 cents or something like that, but you're going to have to fill up more often because you're getting less miles per gallon. So E-15 doesn't save you money. It actually raises your cost of fuel. Fewer miles per gallon results in more fuel burned. Less mileage per tank full, along with increased maintenance costs for vehicles that have been designed for E10 gasoline. That's pretty eye-opening right there, right? E-15 actually increases smog, and that's why the EPA bans it in the summer months. Another economic reality. E-15 is not good for your entire fuel system, therefore increases maintenance costs. In short, ethanol in gasoline is murder on fuel economy. It's also bad for your fuel filters, your fuel injectors, your hoses, and other engine parts. And most internal combustion engines are not compatible with E-15 fuel without taking damage. And the last economic reality of ramping up E-15 ethanol fuel, you know, when you think these things through, you look at the unintended consequences, right? Well, listen to this one. The emergency waiver will allow E-15 to be made and sold in the summer months across the country. That will put a further strain on corn supplies, which affects growers, ranchers that need grain for cattle, and these things will impact already high food prices. Now, will your equipment run on E-15? Of course it will. Is it good for it? No. You know, I'm always pushing the message of doing maintenance, doing PM items, and doing these things to prevent bad things from happening in the first place. So just don't use E-15 and be on the safe side, period. Because if you do, and things start going haywire down the road, just remember you've been warned. You guys that follow my channel, you guys know I never hunt for the cheapest gas. Now I know a lot of you do, and that's fine. I choose not to. I don't get on Gas Buddy and I'm looking for the cheapest gas. And the reason is the cheapest gas is always cheap gas. It doesn't have detergents in it. I just like to feed this coach the best gas I can. So I feed it top tier gas. A top tier is like Mobil, Texaco, Chevron, BP, Valero, those type of stations. That's the kind of unleaded that I'm putting in there. putting top tier gas. And yeah, I'm paying probably 8-10 cents more than everybody else. Like my mom said, you are what you eat. So I want to feed my motorhome the best food I can. It's just not worth it to me to save 5, 8, 10 cents a gallon. If you don't make that choice, I'm cool with that. I'm just letting you know the decisions I've made so you kind of, get a full body of knowledge on how I think and why I do what I do. For those of you who want to learn how to take care and upgrade your RV, if you look right underneath this video, you'll see my logo, RV Street. Click that logo and that'll take you to my home page. On my home page, you'll see the playlist tab. Click the playlist tab and that'll take you to my playlist page where every video I have done thus far will be right there in different categories. As another option, if you look in the right-hand corner, you'll see that little magnifying glass. Just click inside that area and type what you're looking for. If I have done a video on that, it will list it. I'd like to thank every one of you, again, that go and use my Amazon store for everything that you shop normally on Amazon, whether it's RV related or not. You guys have been so faithful in supporting Joni and I by using our Amazon store. It's just been amazing. I just met a guy the other day who said, man, Martin, I got your store. I bookmarked that store and I'm going to be using your store every time I need something on Amazon. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Bob. So again, thank you. The link to my Amazon store is
down there
in the description text. Using my Amazon store for everything you need is a great way to say thank you, Martin. Thank you for taking the time to making these videos and helping the RV community. So remember, read the label at the pump before you start pumping gas. Be safe, be smart, and avoid E-15. So until next time, this is RV Street. Stick